Yes guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel, welcome to episode number 5 of our EAFC 26 career mode here with West Ham United. I hope you all have had a fantastic weekend so far, and I hope this Sunday brings you plenty more joy. And anyone who's recently got the game obviously on release day on the Friday, hope you are enjoying it as much as I am and as much as a lot of other people I know are enjoying this game. But let me know in the comments how you are finding it currently. And whilst I'm on that note, please subscribe to the channel to follow this journey. There'll be obviously plenty of videos coming out throughout EAFC 26, and make sure you like the video if you do like it towards the end of it. And as always, comment any suggestions down below, comment how you're finding the game, etc, etc. But we kick off episode 5 back in the Carabao Cup against another Championship team in Leicester City. And obviously we haven't had the greatest start in the Premier League, although we have obviously won our 2 games in the Carabao Cup. The Premier League hasn't been going quite so well, so we did actually decide to change up formation to a 4-2-3-1 in this game, just test it out, see how we can get on. Obviously we have adjusted the team, we have changed some players around, not a lot of first team players coming into this one, so we knew it was going to be difficult. But obviously with the new formation we just wanted to test out how it is, but unfortunately it got off to the worst possible start, to be honest. 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes into the game, to be fair, 8 minutes into the game, we are already 2-0 down. Steffi Mavididi scoring both goals. First one, obviously from open play and a really good finish from him, to be fair. And the second one from that corner, just bounced around. He found space in the middle of the box and he put it in the back of the net to give Leicester that 2-0 lead. As I say, inside 10 minutes of the first half, and obviously it was already a mountain for us to climb. But we got a chance to pull the game back here. Jarrod Bowen through just about 5 minutes before half time, but unfortunately a poor shot with his weaker right foot was pushed behind for a corner kick by the Leicester goalkeeper. And then from resulting corner, it's Callum Wilson there, obviously starting up front in this game on his own. Unfortunately couldn't quite steer his header on target, and it did go behind for a goal kick, and we did go into half time being that 2-0 down, and just 45 minutes to try and salvage something, try and claw this game back into our favour and get through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. Obviously that's the only place we have got wins this season. We've got a couple of points in the league but no wins so far, and this cup competition was one that was really, if we're being honest, probably keeping us on the right side of the fans and the right side of the board at this stage. So we needed to carry on with the wins in here, and being 2-0 down in the second half was never going to be an easy task to keep that one up. But we wanted to keep pushing, but it was Leicester who got a good chance there. It was Stefan Mavididi looking for his hat-trick, but fortunately saved by the goalkeeper. But just 30 minutes before the end of the game, the defence were backing off. Jarrod Bowen comes through, wasn't speeding, wasn't really fast down there, just really pushing that defence back. He found a little bit of a gap, found an opening, and fires one in on that left foot of his to put the ball in the back of the net to get his second goal of the competition in his second appearance. And then just a couple of minutes after that, we do manage to get the equaliser. That man Callum Wilson hasn't been starting games obviously in the Premier League. Obviously we are starting Bowen and Fulker currently. He has been coming as a substitute, but making his start in this game and making his mark on the game, firing that one in off the inside of the post to bring the scores back to 2-2 and put us in a much better position. But again, it was Leicester who were creating the chance there. Fatal with a really good chance on the edge of the 6-yard box there, but fortunately for us it did go wide of the post. And then just before the end of the game, 5 minutes before the end, Fernandes gets a good chance, but a poor shot gets collected by the goalkeeper to keep the scores at 2-2. But then just a couple of minutes after that, it's that man again, Matheus Fernandes, fires it with his right foot past goalkeeper, and we have fortunately turned this game right on its head from being 2-0 down inside 10 minutes to being 3-2 up just a couple of minutes before the end. And hopefully we should be able to hold out and be able to progress to the next round of the Carabao Cup, which fortunately we do. So at half time, this definitely wasn't expected. If we could get the 2 goals and push them to a penalty shootout, that would have obviously been a really good result for us, depending on obviously how the penalty shootout went. But to win it 3-2 in the last couple of minutes of the game, unbelievable effort from the boys to come back and win that one. Really poor obviously first half, but really delighted with a winning to get through to the next round. And we do come out of that with a international management offer. It is from France, it is from a women's team. We do reject it. As I said before, we're not in the position to be looking at international football quite just yet, and so we did reject that one. And we did get a loan offer for Ollie Scholes from Bournemouth. We did also get one from Palace, but we did turn them both down. We want him ideally to go to a Championship side. He won't really start in that left-back role for any Premier League sides at the minute, so we do reject that. And we do also reject a 2-year loan offer for Lewis Guilherme from Brighton. Same reasons really. He won't get much game time. We want him to go out to a team where he's going to start week in, week out and progress and develop, and Brighton wasn't going to be that team for him, so we did reject both of those. But after that we do go into the next game of this episode at the London Stadium at home against Newcastle United. Back to that 4-2-3-1 formation, which didn't work out so well at the start of the Leicester game, but ended up working out well for us. And obviously what we've been trying so far hasn't worked in the league, so we wanted to obviously try something different, hopefully get us in a better position and get our first win of the season. And the first chance really did come to us. It's Nicholas Fulkrug with a header, good cross by Jude from that left hand side, but unfortunately couldn't quite get power on it, and it did go straight into the keeper's hands. And then a decent shot there from Anthony Gordon from range, nipped the ball off Wissa's foot and gets the shot in, but again it's tipped behind by Areola in our goal for a corner kick, which it will be himself, Anthony Gordon, taking this one. It falls to Joe Linton. Joe Linton, decent head to be fair, but good reactions from Areola to tip that one behind for yet another corner. Anthony Gordon looks to swing another one in, and it will go this time once again to Joe Linton. Joe Linton gets headed, but fortunately goes wide of the post, out for a goal kick, and no harm done at this stage. But just 10 minutes before the end of the first half, Lucas Paqueta with a good, lovely little step over, to be fair, down that left hand side, gets a really good ball in, and it's that man Fulkrug again, a real target man with his head, gets a good header, but a really good reach, to be fair, from Nick Pope to keep that one out. And that's how we went into half time with that 0-0 intact. But unfortunately, just a couple of minutes after the start of the second half, the Newcastle new boy Anthony Elanga picks up the ball, cuts inside, and just scoops that one over Areola in our goal to give Newcastle a 1-0 lead, his third goal in his fourth appearance this season as well. And obviously those Newcastle players absolutely buzzing away from home in difficult conditions, obviously with the rain, to be 1-0 up. But we did creating chances, due for a decent shot there, unfortunately saved by the goalkeeper. But then we did get an opportunity to do something in this game with a red card for the midfielder Sandro Tonali, and you'll see on the replay he'd already picked up a yellow card, so it was just from a second yellow. And you can see a nice little animation there, to be fair. He picked the ball of Jared Bowen, but just followed through, pushed Jared Bowen over, and he did give away the foul, did get the yellow card, and Newcastle are down to 10 men, which we do look to take advantage of straight away. Somerville nicks the ball off Livramento's foot, falls to Wilson, the ex-Newcastle player. He plays it into Jared Bowen, and Jared Bowen's there with his weaker right foot, arrows it into that bottom corner, and gets his 6th goal in 10 games this season, and it brings the scores back to 1-1 in this game. Obviously, as I mentioned, we did bring Wilson on for Fulkrug as a substitute against his former club Newcastle, and he obviously created that chance. And then Somerville gets a decent shot there. Wilson was in the middle, potentially could have passed to him, but Somerville gets the shot, saved by Nick Pope, and the scores did stay at 1-1, and we did get a decent loan offer, to be fair, for the young striker Callum Marshall, just 19 years old I believe, 66 rated, 20 years old should I say. And he's got a loan offer from Inter Miami with obviously Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Jordi Alba, Busquets, etc, etc. So they wanted a loan with an option to buy. We did go back to him saying we're happy for him to go on loan there, but we don't want to lose him permanently. So we'll see obviously what comes off the back of that, to see if they do agree with that, and maybe in the next 6 months we will be seeing Callum Marshall link up front for Inter Miami alongside Lionel Messi, which would be one for the ages and definitely one for him to tell his grandkids. But whilst that decision's all being made in the background, we do go into the third game of the episode. We are back at home, we are in daylight, and we are in sun in this game, and we are against newly promoted Burnley. But unfortunately, the game started in the worst possible way. Once again, we've said that quite a few games this season, and it is Zeki Amdouni who gets the goal, just places that one underneath the goalkeeper to give Burnley a really early 1-0 lead. And obviously we wanted to come back as soon as possible from that. Somerville down the right hand side, similar to Fernandez's goal against Leicester with the winner. Really good shot across the goalkeeper and puts that ball in the back of the net for his first goal of the season, and gets us back to 1-0 inside that 11-minute mark. So definitely time for us to come back and potentially win this game, and loads of time left, but there's also obviously chance and time for us to lose this game as well. And it was Burnley who kept pushing to this point, and they were looking the better team. About 10 minutes before half time, the ball falls into Hannibal there, a decent shot with him with his left foot, but saved by Areola. And then about 10 minutes later, just a couple of minutes before half time, Trezor gets the ball down this left wing. He plays it into Hannibal once again. Hannibal plays it into Ugachukwu. Ugachukwu finds the man who scored their first goal, Zeki Amdouni, and on the turn from close range, Zeki Amdouni fires that ball in and gets his and Burnley's second goal of the game, and gives Burnley that 2-1 lead, which I believe is how we go into half time, and it is. But just a couple of minutes after half time, Amdouni actually does the unimaginable and gets his first hat-trick for the club. He actually hadn't scored this season before coming into this game, but he's fired that one in off the post, and he has got his third for Burnley in this game and his third goal of the season. You can see that 9 appearances this season, and those are his first 3 goals. And we were sort of down, but we weren't out in this game. We kept creating opportunities. Paqueta with a decent shot, did get pushed a little wide there, and probably a little bit too wide to really cause any issues, and it was a good save by the Burnley goalkeeper. And then Amdouni had another chance from range for the edge of the box this time, and his confidence is absolutely sky high, and he fires it into that top right hand corner and gets his 4th goal of the game. And this is looking bad for us. Newly promoted Burnley at home at London Stadium, and we're losing 4-1. So if this gets worse, it's definitely a sackable offence, and unfortunately it was going to get worse. Amdouni once again, who would have known? Amdouni gets his 5th goal of the game for Burnley, and this is just getting absolutely ridiculous at this point. We didn't even create many opportunities ourselves. It was just Burnley absolutely running us ragged, and this is clearly a problem for us. And then just before the end of the game, who is it once again? Zeki Amdouni, 6th goal. I've got no other words than to laugh at this point. Like I say, he hadn't even scored this season in his previous 8 games. Comes into this game, gets 6 goals, double hat-trick, gets 6 goals for Burnley, and we lose against newly promoted Burnley 6-1 at home. And obviously the fans are not going to be happy with this. The board isn't going to be happy with this, and I'm definitely not happy with this. We do get a chance at the end there from Jarrod Bowen, but put wide of the post, and that is how the game it did get round out. And like I say, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So all you can do is laugh at that one, write it off. He had 7 shots, 6 goals. So obviously an unbelievable piece of form from Amdouni in that game. And we did lose that game at 6-1, which we will definitely not be speaking about anytime soon. And we got some more bad news after that. We got a message from Fabianski saying he wants to leave due to his game time. And we did also have a message from George Murphy, which we must have missed because we hadn't had a chance to respond to it. Similar thing, saying he wants to get more game time. Obviously at his age, he wants to go out and get more game time. So we will start seeing some transfer offers come through for them too. And the first of those was for Fabianski, and we did accept an offer from Southampton. Obviously we have got Areola in goal, and we have got Hermansen as well. So we're happy to let him go at his age. We knew we weren't going to get any more money for him. So we obviously... we'll see whether he goes through, but he should be moving to Southampton. And then we did have the accepted offer for George Murphy to go over to America to join Callum Marshall, so his loan offer to Inter Miami has been accepted. And then George Murphy will be going out to Atalanta United on a permanent deal, and he'll be moving over to America. And there's confirmation of all of those. So Callum Marshall going out on loan, Fabianski to Southampton, but unfortunately for him, George Murphy's transfer talks actually failed, probably due to wages, and he won't be moving to America. So Callum Marshall will have to do it all on his own, and George Murphy will stay with us. But we go into the 4th and final game of this episode against Bournemouth, away from home this time, and we knew it was going to be a difficult game, and we knew we had to change things up once again. So we did go back to that 4-2-2-2 formation. We moved back away from a 4-2-3-1. Didn't obviously work for us in the last game. We lost 6-1 against Burnley of all teams, so we knew we had to change something. This was a game that was sort of a must-win at this stage. Bournemouth were last in the league. We were 19th, so it's definitely going to potentially be a 6-pointer, relegation 6-pointer come the end of the season. We had a change in fortune this time. We actually got the first chance of the game. It's Jarrod Bowen. The defender slides in, doesn't get anywhere near the ball. Jarrod Bowen has a really good opportunity to put us 1-0 up here, but a shot straight at Petrovic in the Bournemouth goal does get pushed out, and the scores do stay at 0-0, which we couldn't take advantage of. And then unfortunately, it was Bournemouth who started really piling on pressure. Evan Nilsson with a decent shot, but luckily dragged wide from him. And then just a couple of minutes later, he plays the ball into Kluivert. Kluivert in acres of space, getting behind the defence, and he smashes it in to give Bournemouth a 1-0 lead at home, which we're obviously no stranger to being 1-0 down this season, but we saw the cracks in the defence there. We saw how much space Kluivert had in behind our defence and how much our defence had stepped up. So it's definitely, I feel, our defending that is the problem at this stage, and that we do definitely need to improve. But goalkeepers are playing well. We've got Hermansen in this goal, in goal for this game, should I say. We've made a couple of other changes because, like I say, we knew we needed to change something, and we need to basically experiment to see what works and what doesn't work. So Hermansen was in goal, and he made a couple of decent saves in this game, although we did unfortunately obviously enter the half-time break with that 1-0 defeat at the time. But we got a good chance there from Juve, a decent shot from that left-hand side, but unfortunately just wide of the post. And then just after that, we did get a corner, which did get played out, but gets recycled back to Paqueta. Jarrod Bowen's there with a second header, but unfortunately couldn't quite get any direction on it, and that one does go wide, and the scores do stay at 1-0 to Bournemouth. And then about 10 minutes after that opportunity, Bournemouth did get a chance to get their second of the game. Ball falls into Lewis Cook, and a really good finish. Again, finding space in the defence. It's definitely the defence that needs tightening up, and he finds a space. He gets his eyes on goal, smashes the ball past Mads Hermansen, and gives Bournemouth that 2-0 lead with just 30 minutes left. And we know we can definitely come back from this one. We saw it against Leicester when we were 2-0 down from them. We came back and won that game 3-2. But against the Premier League side, we knew it was going to be more difficult than that Leicester game. And we gave it a good go. Bowen with a decent shot there, cutting in onto his stronger left foot and gets the shot away, but unfortunately saved by the keeper. We made a couple of changes, bringing on Ward-Prowse and Wilson for Füllkrug and Paqueta, and then from the resulting corner, obviously from that save from Jarrod Bowen's shot, it is James Ward-Prowse who's just come on, gets the corner in. Souček wins a header, Juve can't quite do anything with it. Bowen gets the shot, it gets blocked by the defender, and somehow that ball stayed at the back of the net, and Bournemouth defenders were obviously just standing strong there, and the score stayed at 2-0. And then unfortunately in the last minute of the game, Kluivert gets the shot. Hermansen actually does make the save, but it just drifts through his legs, and then that man, the striker of Bournemouth, Evan Nilsson, was there to smash the ball into the empty net, and again, no defenders around him. So once again, that is where we need to work on. And this game did end 3-0. So another poor result in terms of this episode, but again, we'll take positive getting through the next round of the Carabao Cup, and again, we just need to experiment to work out what's going to work. We'll make some team changes, formation, etc., and we'll see what happens. So drop any suggestions down below. But it is going to bring this game, or this episode, to an end, should I say. As always, take care of yourselves. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.